You've been doing this a while, sweetie.
I've been doing it a while. It's just such an interesting moment because, like I said, I had friends who were like, girl, you do it. You better go on every news station. It just doesn't align with who I am sitting
Yes.
there. I already had somebody just call me and they were like, hi, I'm with the Daily News. So I just want to know what's going on here with this Diddy thing. Like, I need to know, do you think like he was coercing people to do things?
hmm
Whoa.
hmm There is a fascination with dark. Yeah. And this is what is happening. You have brought up some darkness, something that you revealed. And the dark is mysterious, it's interesting, it's intriguing. What's in the dark? All art is dark. We don't ever, I mean, even comedy, it's dark. It's a fascination with the dark.
Um, but I love how you've said it many times before. There is no light without dark. But we
Yeah.
want to somehow control that because we don't want the awful things to come with the beautiful things. And you're kind of saying they have to go together.
Well, I'm kind of saying it's there. Now, what we do with it is up to us.
Right.
We
Right.
can wallow around in it. We can do things and destroy people, harm people, hurt ourselves. The dark is, there's Dark Vader, there's, the villains,
You were just about to get into it. I want to give you the floor for this again. Victims, because like we were saying before we had to change location, and your camera's so steady now. I love it. We were talking about victims and why they don't voice their truth. I mean, we've seen it over and over again. It started, I'll never forget as a little girl watching Anita Hill and going,
Mhm.
oh God, learned a lot about Coke cans, learned about pubic hair, and learned that he still got to be a Supreme Court justice. I watched these men after the Me Too movement. Yes, a couple of them went to jail, but a lot of them didn't. We're watching this election that's coming up, unfortunately. One has many, many, many criminal cases against him in this arena of assault. He still gets to run for president. So it's pretty obvious to me why victims keep quiet. But from a psychological standpoint, and from how you see it from your POV, why do victims not come forward immediately?
Well, I think something has happened in the family of origin to where they got the message not to speak up, where courage was dimmed. And this not necessarily very directly, but you could have had a father who was very strong and intimidating, and you did not have the permission to speak up. Or anger is something that is not to be expressed. Like when you are victimized, yes, you're hurt, anger must arise, but yet you may have a message that you are not to express your anger. So, with victimization, I know three things come into mind for me. Three P's. Number one, power.
Yep,
When someone is victimized, whether it's the divine or human, somebody's got power over you.
sure.
And then, for whatever reason, you're not able to protect yourself because of maybe youth, maybe they're physically strong, maybe Mother Nature comes in and you have no say. You can't protect yourself for whatever reason. And then there is, if it's not a natural disaster, some passivity that, like I have heard and witnessed ladies who are in the unfortunate throes of being sexually assaulted, to where they lay and say nothing and just wish for this to hurry up and be over with. They disassociate.
Yes.
They can't
Yes.
speak. They can't speak. They have no power. There's a passivity. They don't know what to do. And and it's so interesting. Some women have saved themselves from that awful, inappropriate action with their wit, you know. Some fight back, you know. So, but passivity is, I think, integral to being victimized, that you don't fight like it's, uh, my master used to say all the time, it's better to die as a hero than to live as a coward.
Mm-hmm. Facts. So wait, so that was really interesting. Do you equate victims with being cowards, or do you think we're taught that in society, that if we become a victim, we are weak in some way?
Well, let's say we don't want to equate cowardice really with victimhood.
Okay.
I would rather use a word to reframe that, to say there is a passivity that we, for whatever reason, we're afraid to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're afraid to, that our voice will have no power, that we will not be effective, that we'll be further victimized.
Okay, Siri, you work with a lot of men. And so you're seeing that men are coming in droves now and understanding
They
that.
are.
How do these, I mean, are we going to make any quick changes or any big shifts when society keeps telling men it's fine to abuse women? It's fine to do what you, because boys are going to be boys.
Mhm.
How is the world really going to change if there's, yeah, it's great individuals are coming in to deal with their own stuff, but
Mhm.
if society doesn't make any men accountable, or very few, how are we really going to shift as a culture?
I think we're shifting. I think we're in a transitional phase. I don't know if my lifetime it will have settled into the middle. Men used to have all kind of power to do whatever they want to their wives and women.
Yes.
No accountability.
Right.
Now it is to the other extent. If a woman says you touched me inappropriately, you lose your job and your career, your money, your.
I don't know.
And so now it's still these extremes. So it's we're in transition to where men are being accountable, women now have power. If you say you did this to me, something is happening to the men. So I think we got to get to truth. What's really the reality here? Like, for example, with the Johnny Depp, she was found not to be telling the truth.
Yes.
Okay. So see, we don't know who's telling the truth. And now what is unfortunate here is that, men would say they didn't do anything, and then women say they did. So both are now in, I see at extremes. But are we to really utilize our judicial system, if it's valid, to make the decision?
Right. And in the Johnny Depp case, she was using old tropes too. To
Yes,
she was like acting, and she's like, okay, what's gonna work? It's
yes,
like, well, women fall victim to this, and it was real. Like I was stunned. I didn't watch it in real time because I'm not, addicted to the TV that way, nor do I subscribe to the distraction. I watched the documentary and I was like, OMG. And then there's now an executive at Nickelodeon that there was just a documentary on. I don't know if you've heard of it, a white man who apparently victimized a bunch of kids. It's just a wild time right now, and I doubt I'll say anything. I'm not really interested in telling the story because, to be perfectly honest, the story doesn't matter. The story doesn't matter. What I've experienced the last couple days is, or sorry, the last day, because it happened yesterday, is a lot of friends like, "Are you okay?" And that makes me uncomfortable because
oh,
I'm like, this was in 1996.
okay,
I'm
okay,
fine. But I've also done I don't even think I talked to you about this.
yes. Well, you're tough now.
Tough. Yeah.
You will fight. You got some warrior archetype inside of you.
Amen.
Okay.
Fact on fact.
It's a
But I
warrior archetype. Yes.
I
So
did think
everyone,
about that. I did think about that. Like, I'm not the right spokesperson because, in my opinion, I'm like, yes, it may have something happened, but I dealt with it on my own.
mm,
I've been going, I've been searching and having therapy off and on and searching and growing and expanding and doing human design to find out what I'm really made of. And all of that stuff gives me strength.
yeah, I
And
wish I knew my Egyptian mythology like I do my Greek mythology.
yeah.
Unfortunately, my PhD is in that. I have to study my Egyptology on my own. But Artemis in Greek mythology is the strong, individuated woman.
That's
Okay.
me, that's me, that's me.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's not that's the self. You have a strong sense of self. And then women in the culture, it's like the predominant sort of direction that women are sort of geared in. And maybe some of it is comes along with womanhood, perhaps. Companionship, you know, motherhood, of course, uh, priestess. Those are the four primary archetypal presences for a woman. Priestess, which you really are, you're out in the world doing your thing, that's the priestess.
Mhm,
Into your calling.
mhm,
The companion is, relationships, motherhood, of course, which you're very much into, and the self.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Um, yeah, it's just such a wild world. I don't know how you're cleansing yourself so you can manage client after client because people are in pain.
Yes, well, that's the joy of being a wounded healer. We don't enter this field saying that we are superior or that what a horrible therapist I would be if I hadn't experienced anything
Yeah.
of, where I'm almost at a demise. I mean, I know what it is to have no money. I know what it is to go through divorce. I know what it is to be lost. Uh, I know what it is to change careers. I know what it is to lose parents. Oh my God, I've just experienced a lot. So the wounded healer, you have to heal your own wounds so that you can heal others and also be aware of your unhealed wounds so
Mhm.
that they do not negatively impact another that you're working with.
This brings me to the conversation I had with you last week with shadow work.
Yes.
Again, shadow, darkness, that a
Yeah.
lot of us in our healing journey need to deal with our shadow, right? And I'm putting together a course so that there's guidance in that because it's a wide open world that a lot of us don't know anything about. Healing our inner child, dealing with our past traumas. That shadow work is deep and it's hard and it's painful, but
Yes.
to have a group to go through that with, I think is everything. To have meetings once a week to be like, okay, this is where we are. You don't have to divulge too much, but I don't you think that is a more productive way to go about dealing with your shadow work?
Yes, but it's so interesting. I had a lovely client last week, and she's just soaring. She's just soaring. And she says, I recommended you to such and such a person, and you are such a gift. And I'm just so sad that they didn't continue to work with you. I said, and so then we did our breath work to where a lot of her very unsettling, sad, dark, painful situations are coming up that she was unconsciously carrying and living out, which was holding her back from really being her completely prosperous, whole, healed self. And I reminded her, I said, you know how in Shawshank Redemption, I said, you remember how he got to freedom? She says no. I said he had to break through and go through the sewage system, his
Yes.
own shit and pee. Who wants to go through that? Everybody doesn't have the courage, the fortitude, the determination to walk through your own shit and pee. And that's why we don't heal. And I have had, do you know how many people I witnessed that we finally break the case, like, oh, da 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 da. And
Mhm.
you know what they do the next session?
Regress.
Run, never come back.
But that's
Never
the one.
come back.
Why? Because sometimes people get stuck in their shit, right? They get stuck in
Yeah.
the whirlwind of I'm in such a victim and they want to stay there. And when
Yes,
you solve it, they don't want that.
no, because it's familiar. And number two, like I said, it's daunting. Who wants to walk through all of that? That is not your average person. That's pain. Pain is pain.
Yeah.
And when we work with me to grow, sometimes we got to go there and get that psychological tumor out. We got to get that bacteria out.
Did I ghost you?
I am not answering that question.
Well, because I really understand it. And I understand because at the time when you were my therapist, many moons ago,
Yes.
I was in a I was trying to get out of well, I'm always trying to get out. I don't know why it's so hard to get out of relationships, but I was trying to get out of a relationship and trying to understand why I would choose that person. I really truly understand that now.
Mhm.
It's, I put the pieces together, but I've also been on this journey since I was 20 years old to try to understand my trauma, why I did this, why I did that, why I chose these partners, why my boundaries were so wimpy, why
Mhm.
I would deal with such BS and
Mhm.
not hold a higher standard for myself. I get all that stuff based on the work that I've done to dismantle the mystery.
Mhm.
It's a lifelong thing. And people think, oh,
Yeah,
I went to therapy. It's not a I went to therapy and fixed it. It's a lifelong journey to
exactly.
freedom. Really true. Through the shit and the pee.
That's right. Yeah, it's healing is not a destination. It's just what you said. It's a journey. Healing is a journey. And no, I'm not pathologizing anyone that leaves. Good therapy ends. Maybe you got all you need to get.
Yes.
Need another path. Maybe you need, maybe you take a rest. It's not easy walking through that weekly. Maybe I need a rest. Maybe I've done several months and I need to take a break before I start back or do another journey. Now I have some awareness. I want to take my awareness over here. No, it's not yeah, you haven't stopped the work. You're still doing the work. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Every day. Every day
Yeah.
I know I need to do this shadow work program. And we've talked about the victim, and I want to talk about perpetrators just for a second because I think it's as easily digestible. It's as easily di we can dissect that as easily as we can dissect the victim part, which
Hmm.
is people who perpetrate,
Hmm.
who assault, who attack,
Hmm.
who violate
Hmm.
have the same shit going on. They
Yeah.
just exhibit it differently, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Well, which gives me empathy to work with those who have done some inappropriate acts. Like, for example, I used to work with the perpetrators of domestic violence. Now, I had to run those groups for 2 years, once a week. Now, I have to have empathy as the healer. You're coming to help. I have to have empathy for you. And what I came to understand and still do understand is perpetrators have been victimized usually, and they have not dealt with their victimization. So they acted out on others.
Yep.
They had no power. Something happened to them. And then to come into power, they unconsciously do the same thing that was done to them or acted out in some kind of way. Like if I wasn't just a regular psychotherapist, I think I'd be a forensic psychologist. I
Mhm.
look at these TV shows where these people do these horrible things to other people that's not in my psyche. And I go like, what makes them tick? What happened to them
Yeah.
as to why they could, how they could do that?
Hmm.
What is the blind spot that they're now perpetrating in the light?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
It almost is like healing. It's almost like not healing for them, but it feels good because it's like when people have trauma and then they cut themselves, it's
Yeah.
almost like, oh, that pain feels like a best friend. That pain feels like, because it's normal, it feels close. It feels like you're alive in this weird way. I mean, R. Kelly spoke about that. He was victimized, so he victimized other people. I don't know what the, Hollywood producers do, why I think a lot of people in Hollywood have unhealed trauma. We go
Yes.
there. I know I was very clear on it. I was very unhappy as a teen, and I just wanted to be famous to heal that. And I
Mhm.
really thought fame was going to make it go away. It doesn't. And I learned that very well with Matthew Perry because my first job was on Friends as the stage PA. And so I would see him, I would be able to watch him in rehearsals. And I love watching people just to see how they tick. FYI, Jennifer Aniston is perfection, but Matthew Perry was always tortured. And and that fame didn't fix it. I
No,
watched him think it was. All it
no.
did was amplify his shit that he needed to fix. And then when you're too famous, then your ego gets in it and you don't want to, you just keep on doing what you keep on doing, you know? But
But I,
there are always many people around, like in Diddy's case, many people around that witnessed it, that knew he was doing it and did nothing about it.
Mhm. What I have seen with, I work with a lot of wealthy people and very happy for them. And I have come to coin the phrase, you've conquered Earth. And so, I mean, I sit here and I've questioned myself many times, like, why are these famous, wealthy people coming to me? And because they've conquered Earth, but if you have not the equal development in your spiritual being, you'll be lost, depressed, still tortured, as you say.
Yeah.
And most of these individuals have spent their time conquering Earth, and they did it. But there are only two things on the planet, as I say all the time: energy and matter. Matter is earth, money, blah, energy, the spirituality. So this, we're not taught in the West
No.
at all. Ain't nothing about develop your spiritual self. Go get the money, get the job, get the fame. And thus we wound up imbalanced.
Yeah. And that imbalance wears on you.
Oh,
May not
it's
understand.
torture.
We may not understand what it is, but it's torture.
Exactly, exactly. Because it's like the person is, they come to me and they're like, I don't understand because I've conquered Earth. I don't understand why I'm feeling empty because there's no meaning. There's no meaning. You can't go to bed with your money. I guess you can. It could be fun. Just have your money all around.
Swimming in money.
I'm
I'm
so
sure they've
poor.
done it. But that's the thing. I'm sure they've all done it. They've done it in their music videos and they go, I'm still empty. What do I do?
Because you're alive. And so that's the breath. The breath is spirit. It's the spirit inside of you. When we die, what happens? The body is still there. The spirit has left. So it's about the breaths between the first and the last that we do not focus upon to enhance our life.
Hmm. When are you going to have a manifestation event again? A
When you
mantra.
produce it.
A mantra. Let's do another. I mean, I've only been
Mantra night.
mantra
Yes.
night.
I could
That's
do.
where you incorporate so much of the breathing and the chanting, and it's really wonderful. I think we all need more of that, right?
It's very enjoyable.
Or etc. And absolutely, let's do mantra night there one night. Even
Sure.
though it's specifically for women of color,
Oh, well, hey. Even though you mean especially for the women of color.
especially, you are
Yeah.
not you
Okay.
are not a stranger to being surrounded
No.
by women of color.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I have run groups with all women in front of me. I've run, used to intimidate me, it doesn't anymore. Groups of all men in front of me, and oh my God, they're so different and
So
each
different.
so different. And I have to talk to each differently, and it's just affirming of the union of the goal of the union of an individual to be able to channel the feminine principle, even though you're a man, and to be a woman to be able to channel the masculine principle. Yeah. So I'd love to talk to the women, be with the women. Yeah. Yeah.
Mantra night. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Mantras in. We'll figure out what it's gonna do. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Siri, for talking to me. It's just been, I'm not as much as I'm supposed to be in front of the camera. I love being in front of the camera. I don't want to be in front of the camera for the wrong things. You know what I mean?
Yes. Let's do a meditation for 2 minutes.
Okay.
This is my newest meditation I've been practicing. It is so powerful. So bring your hands like this. It's Venus. We're just gonna do it for 3 minutes.
Okay.
And just in front of your heart chakra. And this is with a mantra. And I'm just convinced in doing this one meditation, say 11 minutes a day, problems are going to flee and mastery will come into your energy field. So I'll repeat the mantra twice and then you join me and then we'll just conclude it. So you inhale through the nose. Me within me is the purity.
Me within me is the purity.
Me within me is the reality.
Me within me is the reality.
Me within me is the grace.
Me within me is the grace.
I am the master in the space.
I am the master in the space.
Inhale. Let's do it together again. Me
Me
within me
within me
is the purity.
is the purity.
Me within me is the reality.
Me within me is the reality.
Me within me is the grace.
Me within me is the grace.
I am the master in the space.
I am the master in this space.
Last time. Me within me is the purity.
Me in me is the purity.
Me within me is the reality.
Me within me is the reality.
Me within me is the grace.
Me within me is the grace.
I am the master in the space.
I am the master in this space.
Just relax your hands. And gradually bring yourself back.
I was like,
What was that like?
the hummingbird in me was a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
And somebody said that to me the other day. It's because I'm a manifesting generator. And
Mhm,
so we were fast.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
They said, "Oh, that's the hummingbird." And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
mhm,
The
mhm,
hummingbird in me sometimes is,
mhm,
and I
mhm.
see it in my daughter too, which is wild.
Purity, you're just pure energy. Your belief system, your oneness with self is the reality. And to always be graceful. Hey, done deal.
There's what I know for sure is it's a time to practice. It's a time to lean into all these modalities. It's a time to be very intentional about it. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And it also reminded me of the body's in the spirit, not the spirit in the body. It reminded me of that.
Okay. Mhm, mhm. Well, you have a calling and you're in it, so. You're calling. You're courageous.
I am courageous. I'm not stupid. So I have to, those are, sometimes people just want to be courageous for courageous sake, but you can be courageous in a different way, in a way that's also informed.
Yeah, because you have that strong warrior type. The warrior has to really make sure the call is important and worthy. The call to arms.
Yeah. Indeed. Thank you so much, Siri SatNam Singh.
Well, thank you for calling on me today.
Always the first call, always the first call. And your hair is just
Thank you. I love my people. Love my people. They always read the script.
we know it. You sent it, so I read it. I mean, what you want?
Okay.
Much love to you.
Okay.
I
I'll
will
see
talk
you
to you
soon.
soon. Yes. Hallelujah.
Just
I'll
give me
keep
the
you posted.
time.
All
Okay.
right, darling. I'll talk to you soon. Much love.
So do you. Bye-bye.
Bye.